my notes I wrote that God is not out to get you. He is out to give to you. The Israelites, they were enslaved for over 400 years, and we don't know why they were enslaved that long. But when we meet Moses in Exodus chapter 3, God reveals to Moses the plight of his people. So we're going to look at Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Moses then goes to the Pharaoh, and there's all kinds of dramatic moments after that, and God's people are free. What I love here first is that God sees the suffering of his people. And again, we don't know how long they suffered. Some of us have been in difficult and hard situations for a long time, but God is concerned about where you're at. He sees your suffering. It has not escaped, but in his time, he has a plan. So Moses, after the people are free, you would think that as Moses is leading them and they are out of slavery and it's real dramatic, God does lots of miracles, like this should have made a huge and lasting impression. Right. Like if you were enslaved and then all kinds of miracles happened and then the water parts, like you should remember that for a while. Except the people don't. So we're going to move over to Exodus. We're going to look at chapter 16, verses 1 through 4. And I love this passage of scripture because as much as I love Jesus, sometimes I can be like these people. It says the whole Israelite community set out from Elim and came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had come out of Egypt. So they just got free. In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, if only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There, we sat around pots of meat, and we ate all the food that we wanted. But you have brought us out here into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death. Really? Is that how you remembered Egypt? Verse 4. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them to see whether they will follow my instructions. For me, like when I think about this, the Israelites had such a short memory. But that's so true for us, isn't it? Right. God blesses us every single day. He answers prayers for us every single day. And not a hot 15 minutes after our last answered prayer, we're like, Jesus, we need this. And God in his faithfulness, he keeps providing and protecting and providing and protecting. And that's why I love that part of the story, that it was the 15th day after the second month. They have not even been out there that long. And I am reminded for me about how quickly I forget God's faithfulness. One of my main points that I take away from this section, when God says that he will provide, is that God takes care of his children at all times, especially hard times. Right.